Hello students, welcome to chemistry online classes. Surface chemistry lesson is going on. This is lecture number 7. In previous classes we have seen how to prepare preparation of colloidal solution, then purification of colloidal solution. Now today's topic is properties of colloidal solution. Preparation we have done by 3 ways, purification by 3 ways is over, and now properties of colloidal solutions we are going to study. So let us start with properties of colloidal solution. First property of colloidal solution here is colligative properties. Okay. Now colligative properties means what? That already in detail we have studied in second lesson, solutions. So let us revise quickly. What are colligative properties? The properties which depend upon number of solute particles irrespective of its nature are called as colligative properties. Means this property depend upon what is number of solute particles. Okay, it doesn't depend upon what type of particles are there. What is its nature doesn't required for colligative properties. Only number is important. Okay. So which colligative properties we have studied in second lesson? 4 colligative properties we have studied. First one RLVP, relative lowering of vapor pressure. Second, elevation in boiling point, then depression in freezing point, and then osmotic pressure. Okay. So all these properties will depend upon number of solute particles present. How are colligative properties for colloidal solutions? Okay. Now, if we will compare true solutions and colloidal solutions, students, you know very well that true solutions have more number of particles because size of particles is smaller in true solutions. So number will be more, and that's why colligative properties will be of higher order in true solutions because number of particles are more. That's why colligative properties are of higher order. Coming to colloidal solutions. In colloidal solution, particles aggregate. Smaller size particles will aggregate and then bigger size particles will form. Is it? And that's why colloidal particles will be larger but smaller in number or lesser in number. That's why colligative properties are of smaller order as compared to true solution. Understood well? In colloidal solutions, particles aggregate to become large size particles, and that's why number of colloidal particles will be less. So colligative properties will be of smaller order. Okay, that is what I have written here. Definition already you know. Which colligative properties 4 already we have discussed. What happens in true solution? Contains more number of particles. So colligative properties are of higher order. But for colloidal solution, aggregate will form. So number of solute particles will be less, and that's why colligative properties are of smaller order. Okay. So let us move towards next property of colloidal solutions. Next property is Tyndall effect, the most important property. Okay. What is Tyndall effect? Then in starting of this lesson we have seen the difference between two solutions, colloidal solutions and suspensions. There I have told you that Tyndall effect is the one of the unique property which is shown only by colloidal solutions and not by true solutions or by suspensions. So this effect is shown only by colloidal solution. So let us see what is Tyndall effect. Very simple concept is there. Just go on understanding. Okay. Tyndall effect we have see it is based on scattering of light by colloidal particles. Okay. This is principle of Tyndall effect is colloidal particles scatter light. Okay. True solution particles, suspension particles do not scatter light. That's why they don't show Tyndall effect. Because scattering of light depends upon size of the particle. True solution particles are small enough. Suspension particles are large enough. Exact range of colloidal particles is between 1 nanometer up to 1000 nanometer. And this size is exact for scattering of light. And that's why Tyndall effect is shown only by colloidal solutions. How carried out. Listen. Colloidal solution is kept in a dark room. First understand the experiment. Colloidal solution is kept in a dark room. Okay. And then one strong beam of light is passed through colloidal solution. You can see here in the diagram, one source of light is shown and that beam of light, one strong beam of light is passed through the colloidal solution. This colloidal solution is kept in a glass vessel, beaker, glass vessel, and in a dark room. Now we have to observe this beam of light at a right angle to the path of light. So microscope is kept upside. Are you understanding? Right angle. This path of light is observed at right angle. Okay. Now the light passes through colloidal solution and the path of light is observed by us through microscope at right angle to the path of light. Okay, so from upside we are going to observe this path of light. This path of light becomes visible, okay, in the form of bright cone. Here I have shown you bright cone of light. Path of light is made visible in the form of bright cone, and this bright cone is formed due to scattering of light. You can see in the middle, here I have shown scattered light. Light gets scattered. Who will scatter the light? Colloidal particles. And due to this scattering of light, the path of light becomes visible in the form of bright cone. This is due to scattering of light, and this effect is called as Tyndall effect. I hope you understood the Tyndall effect very well. Okay. Now student, how question will be asked? Very important question. So sometimes question will be asked for 1 mark, 2 mark. Depending on marks, your answers should change. If only for 1 mark it is asked, then your answer should be scattering of light by the particles of dispersed phase in the colloidal solution is called as Tyndall effect. Okay, scattering of light is the important word. But if for 2 marks question is asked or for 3 marks it is asked, then diagram is compulsory. Draw the proper diagram, label the diagram, and your answer should be okay. So whatever I am telling, as it is, you should write down while making your notes. See, you should tell when a strong beam of light is passed through the colloidal solution kept in dark room. When a strong beam of light is passed through colloidal solution kept in dark room, then and the path of light is observed at right angle to that path of light is observed at right angle, then the path of light is made visible. Okay, here I will write path of light is visible. It is visible in the form of bright cone. It is visible in the form of, important points I am writing, in the form of bright cone. Okay. Due to scattering of light by the colloidal particles. Due to scattering of light by the colloidal particles. Okay. And this effect is called as Tyndall effect, and the bright cone observed is called as Tyndall cone. Here I have shown Tyndall cone. This is the cone-like structure you can see, and that is called as Tyndall cone, bright cone. Okay. So I hope you understood experiment very well. Definition for 2 marks. When a strong beam of light is passed through colloidal solution kept in a dark room, then and observed at right angle to the direction of beam of light, then this beam of light is made visible in the form of bright cone due to scattering of light, that is called as Tyndall effect. Okay. So experiment diagram understood, definition understood well. Let us see what is use of Tyndall effect. Just now I have compared colloidal solution and true solution, and I have told you that this Tyndall effect is shown only by colloidal solution and not by true solutions. Okay, so here important application is there. That's why Tyndall effect is used to distinguish between true solution and colloidal solution. True solution don't show, colloidal solution shows. That's why what is application or use I am writing. It is used to distinguish between true solution and colloidal solution. Understood well application? Let us move towards what are the conditions so that Tyndall effect is seen. Okay, conditions for Tyndall effect. First condition, size of colloidal particle should be large. Okay. So it depends upon size of particle. Of course, colloidal particles are having large size, and that's why they show Tyndall effect. So condition understood. Size should be large, and of course colloidal particle size will be large, but range will be there, 1 nanometer up to 1000 nanometer. Larger the size, that's why I have written size of colloidal particle should be large. They are large only in the range of 1 nanometer up to 1000 nanometer. Already we have seen this. Larger the size, from 1 nanometer up to 1000 nanometer, larger the size of the colloidal particles, more scattering will take place, and that's why much more Tyndall effect is seen. Okay, so first point clear. Let us move towards second point. Wavelength of light. Wavelength of light should be short. Wavelength of light should be short. Means you can see that it is inversely proportional. Shorter wavelength is required. Okay, why wavelength of light should be short? Okay, student, here I will tell you relationship. Scattering is inversely proportional to wavelength raised to 4. So you can see, student, very well that scattering is inversely proportional to wavelength. Is it? Scattering is inversely proportional to wavelength. So wavelength of light should be short. How much short wavelength, that much more scattering. And more scattering means more Tyndall effect. Understanding? So Tyndall effect condition is wavelength of light should be short, because wavelength depend upon scattering in inverse way. Okay. So second point also understood, student. Wavelength should be shorter wavelength, because scattering inversely proportional to wavelength. Shorter the wavelength, more scattering, more Tyndall effect will be there. And third condition you can think is difference in refractive indices between dispersed phase and dispersion medium should be more. Okay, bright things means a refractive index, here we should a shining property of the particles, and that difference between refractive indices of Disperse phase, dispersion medium. These are two phases of colloidal solution, disperse phase and dispersion medium. Their refractive indices should have more difference. Okay, then much better Tyndall effect is seen. This is all about Tyndall effect. Let us move towards next property of the colloidal solutions. Students, let us move towards next colloidal property, color of the colloidal solution. What is color of colloidal solution? Then every colloidal solution has one particular color, but color changes according to the size of the particle. Okay, so colloidal particles has a range of 1 nanometer up to 1000 nanometer. What is the size of colloidal particles in that particular solution? According to the size of particle, color of the solution changes. Okay, so it depends upon what things let us understand. Color of the colloidal solution. Color of colloidal solution depends upon. Now, a color depends upon what light receiver receives. Okay, based on that. So it depends upon wavelength of light scattered by the colloidal particles. Okay. So here I am writing color of the colloidal solution depends upon wavelength of light scattered by the particles. Okay, so first thing you understood that color depends upon what light is scattered by the colloidal particles. Now this wavelength, whatever is scattered, depends upon size of the particle. So finally color depends upon size of the colloidal particles. Understood? Color depends upon wavelength of light scattered by the colloidal particles, which wavelength they are scattering, and wavelength of light scattered by particle depends upon size of the colloidal particle. Okay, so student, you understood that color finally depends upon size of the colloidal particles. Size can be from 1 nanometer up to 1000 nanometer in this colloidal range. Okay, then how exactly it happens? Let us take an example. Okay, so here example will take of gold sol. I hope you know the meaning of sol. Yes, what is sol? Solid in liquid. Disperse phase should be solid, dispersion medium should be liquid, then it is called as sol. In gold sol, if particles are finest, very small size particles are there, then gold sol color will be red. If particle size is very small, then gold sol actually it should look golden in color, but it will look red if particle size is very small. If finest size is there, then color will be red. How size goes on increasing? I will show here arrow. Size of this particle increases. Understanding? How size of the particle goes on increasing, like that color of the gold sol goes on changing. Very small size red, then size increases, red becomes purple. If again size of the particle increases, purple becomes blue. See the changes to, and when size will again increase, finally it becomes golden. Okay, so you came to know that color of colloidal solution depends upon particle size. Understood? Actually, color of the solution, color of the colloidal solution depends upon wavelength of light scattered by the particles. That wavelength depend upon size of the colloidal particles. So finally color depends upon size of the colloidal particles. One example I have written here. Okay student, one more thing you can think of here. Color of the colloidal solution also depends upon the way a receiver is receiving the light. See here, this is 1 over. How receiver receives the light, that is also very important, because receiver is going to see that color of the colloidal solution. If a receiver receives color, the way it receives, based on that color may change. Okay, take an example. Only for understanding, take an example. Milk plus water mixture is there. One mixture of milk plus water is there. If receiver receives reflected light, receiver is receiving reflected light, then that mixture is blue in color. If it is observed by reflected light, blue color solution will see. Same mixture, milk plus water. But if receiver is receiving transmitted light, then the color of the colloidal solution becomes red. Okay, so the way the way receiver receives the light is also very important. The way it changes, whether it is reflected light or it is transmitted light, then color of the colloidal solution changes. Okay, very small property is there, not much important, but understand how different property changes according to the size of the particle. So let us move to the very important property again. Before, I have told you that Tyndall effect is important. Now, after Tyndall effect, Brownian moment is also one of the very important property which is shown by colloidal solutions. What is Brownian moment? Very simple, zigzag motion. Whatever is seen in the colloidal solutions is called as Brownian moment. And that zigzag motion of the colloidal particles we can't see as it is. We have to observe that colloidal solution under ultra microscope. Then only that zigzag motion, colloidal particles are continuous in zigzag motion. Anyhow, it will be straight line motion will be there. Particles are continuously moving in straight line in zigzag pattern. Zigzag pattern I have shown here. Okay, so this movement of colloidal particles, which is seen in colloidal solution when observed under ultramicroscope, that is called as Brownian movement. Okay, so concept is very simple. When colloidal solution is viewed under a powerful ultramicroscope, the colloidal particles appear to be in a state of continuous zigzag motion. This zigzag motion is called as Brownian movement. Of course, why it is called Brownian movement? Because by the scientist name Robert Brown. Okay, he has given this name for the zigzag motion. He is actually a botanist. In whatever he has observed in biology, there he gave name Brownian movement. Same movement is seen in colloidal particles. So this motion is called as Brownian movement. Okay, by the name of Robert Brown. Before we have seen Tyndall effect. There why it is called as Tyndall effect? Because actually the effect was first observed by Faraday, Tyndall effect, but it was very well studied by Tyndall, scientist name again, and that's why his name was given, Tyndall effect it is called. So here also name is given by the scientist name Robert Brown. So Robert Brown's movement, zigzag motion, you understood it very well. He continues that dispersed phase colloidal particles. We have seen that they are continuously dispersed in the solution. They never settle down. Who settles down? Particles in the suspension settles down. Colloidal particles are continuously in the dispersed phase, is continuously in the dispersed form, in the scattered form in the dispersion medium, and they are continuously in the zigzag motion. This is called as Brownian movement. Then student, here important point is why? What is reason why they are continuously in zigzag motion? Then already we have seen that colloidal solution has two phases. One is dispersed phase, another is dispersion medium. Dispersed phase, dispersion medium. Then the particles of dispersed phase and the particles of dispersion medium are continuously, there is unbalanced bombardment, continuously colliding, not balanced anyhow, unbalanced bombardment is there. Between whom? Between the particles of dispersed phase and the particles of dispersion medium. This is the reason for Brownian movement. Reason understood? So reason I am writing here, student. What is reason for Brownian movement? Unbalanced. Word see properly. Unbalanced bombardment. Between whom? Between particles of dispersed phase and dispersion medium. So student, reason asked, what is reason for Brownian motion? There is always unbalanced, not balanced. Anyhow they are bombarding on each other, they are colliding on each other. Who is colliding? Particles of dispersed phase and particles of dispersion medium. Due to this unbalanced bombardment of two types of particles, always they will remain in zigzag motion. Okay. What is use of this? Due to this continuous bombardment, they will remain in zigzag motion, and that's why these particles do not settle down, do not coagulate, do not precipitate. Getting? So, this Brownian movement is important for stability of the colloidal solution. Due to this bombardment, they are not settling down, they are not coagulating down, and that's why the most important use of Brownian motion or movement, we can write it. It is responsible for stability of colloidal solution. Colloidal solutions are stable due to this. One of the again reason, many factors are responsible for stability. One of the factor is continuous zigzag motion. Don't allow the particles to settle down. Don't allow the particles to coagulate, precipitate. And that's why it is one of the reason for stability of colloidal solutions. Let us move to the factors on which this zigzag motion, Brownian movement depends. Yes, sir, you can also very easily guess. Continuously particles should move in zigzag way. Then on which factors it will be dependent? Smaller the size. Whose size should be smaller? Of dispersed phase particles. I am writing a rapid, fast movement will be there. How much small size particles will be there of dispersed phase, that much rapid movement will be there. So dispersed phase particles should be smaller, and then only rapid movement is possible. Brownian movement more is possible. Of course, you can think how much thicker they will be. Larger they will be. Larger means within the range only. More large, then movement won't be that much faster. So less the size, rapid, faster Brownian movement you can see. Let us move towards second factor. What again will be affecting on this motion, on this movement, Brownian movement? Then secondly you can think of dispersed phase particle size should be small. But how should be dispersion medium? Dispersion medium should be viscous or less viscous. So I hope that you remember viscosity. The topic already we have studied in first PUC, liquid states of matter. What is viscosity? Opposed to flow. Opposed to flow. To the liquid, how much opposed to flow will be there? That is called as viscosity. The liquid should not flow easily. That is called as viscous liquid. Okay, water is less viscous. It is flowing fast. Retardation to the flow, retard to the flow, opposed to the flow is called as viscosity. So for faster movement, how should be the dispersion medium? Viscosity should be less. How much? more viscous, that much oppose will be more. So second condition I am writing, less viscosity whose of dispersion medium. Dispersion medium should be less viscous. Means opposed to flow will be less. Like this, everything we have covered under Brownian movement. Let us move towards next property of colloidal solution. So students, let us move towards next colloidal property, that is charge on colloidal particles. So in colloidal solution, whatever colloidal solution will be there, dispersed phase will have some charge on it. Either all particles will be positively charged or negatively charged, and based on that charge, it will be positive soul or negative soul. So all colloidal particles have same charge. That one thing remember. The property is charge on colloidal particles. All colloidal particles, that is dispersed phase, is having same charge. All particles will be either positively charged or negatively charged. Now student, what happens due to same charge? See, as all the particles are having same charge, as you know already that same charges repel each other. So colloidal particles, there is one type of repulsion, same charges repel each other. So the charge, rather the same charge on the colloidal particles keeps them apart from each other. Okay, so they don't come close and coagulation do not take place. Like this, charge on colloidal particles also responsible for stability of colloidal solution, preventing coagulation, preventing precipitation. Understood? So here I have written that charge on colloidal particle will be either positive or negative. All particles always carry same charge. All will be positively charged or all will be negatively charged. Same charge of colloidal particles keeps them apart. Same charge repels, so keeps the particles apart from each other, prevents them from coming closer to each other, and that's why no coagulation takes place. And like this, charge on the particles is responsible for stability of colloidal solution. For example, what's done? All metal soles are negatively charged. Okay, student. All metal soles. Otherwise, you can take an example of blood. Blood is also colloidal solution. In blood also, you know that so many corpuscles are dispersed. So blood is a very good example of colloidal solution. Blood. In blood, hemoglobin, heme particles, iron, metal soles are negatively charged, and that's why blood soul is also negatively charged. Any example you can think of? Example here I am writing all generally metal souls are negative souls. Okay, all colloidal particles in the metal soul will be negative. Other example I told you that blood. Why blood? Blood is a colloidal solution because so many corpuscles are dispersed in that. So many particles are dispersed and so it is a colloidal solution. And hemoglobin, heme, iron makes it negative soul. Again, negative soul example is smoke also. Smoke is also a negative soul. Okay student, one more example we have discussed previously. If you remember, missile formation mechanism I have taught you. In that missile formation, which example we have taken? Soap example. Soap is nothing but sodium salt of higher fatty acid stearate we have seen. If you remember missile formation, C17H35COO minus stearate ions were pulled inside the water and they were forming the missile. So which charge was there on stearate ions? So you will be remembering head was having negative charge, and that is also an example of negative soul. So all colloidal particles carry a charge, either positive or negative. Let us move towards charge on soul particles is due to which reasons? What is the reason for charge on colloidal particles? First reason is electron may be captured by these colloidal particles. Okay, so charge on colloidal particles is due to following reasons. First reason I am writing, electron captured by the particles. If they will capture electron, they may get negative charge. Second reason is due to formation of electrical double layer. Electrical double layer is formed, that is called as Helmholtz double layer. Okay. Due to that also colloidal particles will have charge. Last and most accepted, third reason, the most accepted reason for the charge on colloidal particles is preferential adsorption of ions from solution. Preferential adsorption. Of course, adsorption will take place. Preferential, there will be a preference for the adsorption of ions. Which ions will be adsorbed? Preference will be there. And that's why this type of adsorption is called as preferential adsorption. Ions from solution will be adsorbed by the colloidal particles. Okay, there will be ions in the colloidal solution. How ions will be there? Of course, in the preparation we have seen that freshly prepared precipitate is shaken with dispersion medium and small amount of electrolyte is added. This electrolyte is going to dissociate into ions and that ions are going to get adsorbed on the surface of PPT, precipitate, and that gives charge to the colloidal particles. Okay. So in peptidization method I have told you that. Okay. So like this, there will be preferential adsorption. Colloidal particles adsorb ions from the solution. In solution, from where ions will come, we are adding small amount of electrolyte and that dissociate into ions and that ions gets adsorbed on the surface of precipitate, which onwards is going to become dispersed phase. Okay, when shaped with dispersion medium. So student, these are the three reasons for charge on the colloidal solution. Okay, and the most accepted reason is preferential adsorption. Let us see few more points. How exactly preferential adsorption of ions takes place in the solution. So let us move towards preferential ion adsorption theory. Okay, try to understand the theory. Anyhow questions won't be asked, but how exactly adsorption takes place, how this first phase gets a charge. To understand this, we will see preferential ion adsorption theory. According to this theory, what happens? See, Sol particles have a tendency, colloidal particles have a tendency to adsorb ions. Of course, they have a tendency to adsorb ions on them. But which ions? Common ion. It should be common and in excess present in the solution. Okay, and that gives the charge to the colloidal particles. Let us understand this by taking example. Student, I will tell you two examples. Understand the example. Imagine that firstly we are having in a beaker AgNO3 solution, silver nitrate solution. To this solution, Ki solution is added drop by drop. So AgNO3 solution is in excess in the beaker. To this solution, Ki solution drop by drop is added. What happens? Let us see. Now here I will write Ki plus AgNO3. Reaction, it forms Agi precipitate plus Agi plus KNO3. Okay. Ki plus HNO3 reaction will take place in this way. Now this precipitate Agi plus. Now Agi will adsorb which ion from the solution? Try to understand, student. there is a preference for ion. Whichever ion it won't absorb. Let us see. There is a preference, so this type of adsorption is called as preferential adsorption. AgI is going to absorb common ion to it because the theory tells that it has a tendency to absorb common ion. Which ions are present in AgI? Ag and I. So it will take either Ag or it will take I, common ion, which is present in excess in the solution. So in the solution, Ki is in less quantity because drop by drop it is added. So excess, these two will be there. So what will get absorbed common is Ag. So it will absorb Ag plus ions, and finally Ag I am writing. On that I am showing Ag plus is adsorbed. Okay, and this is which type of Solis form, student? Positive Solis form. I hope you understood this example very well. It adsorbed common ion present in the solution. So it was Ag. So positive Solis form. Let us take one more example to make the concept very clear. Imagine now this time I am having Ki solution in the beaker and I am adding AgNO3 solution drop by drop. Drop wise. Now student, go on telling what reaction will take place. Again same reaction. Ki solution is there. It combines with AgNO3 and of course it will form AgI precipitate plus KNO3. This AgI is now going to absorb the ion from the solution. Preference will be given to whom? Tell. Common ion should be there in the solution. So in the solution, which ion is common to it now? Iodide ion. And that's why it absorbs iodide ion. And what is formed? C student? AgI. I am showing dot indicating adsorption. And I minus ion gets absorbed on AgI. And this gives rise to negative type of Sol. So like this, preference will be given depending upon which solution is there. Different preferences will be there. I have shown you one example of how positive Sol is formed, how negative Sol is formed. So student, this is preferential adsorption. Now this gives charge to the colloidal solution. Okay, this is over. Next explanation I will give for formation of electrical double layer. Okay, how electrical double layer forms. Now here already in the solution what has formed you understood. This reaction took place in this solution. Now in this solution what is there? AgI, Ag plus adsorb on AgI, positive Sol is formed here, negative Sol is formed here. Now afterwards what happens? See students. So afterwards electrical double layer how forms, that I will tell you. I will take first example AgI. C student, imagine that this is AgI. On AgI what is adsorbed? Ag plus is adsorbed. This whatever Ag plus is adsorbed is giving positive charge to the colloidal particle. This is our colloidal particle, dispersed phase. Positive charge is there. Now in the solution when it is dispersed, negative ions will be get surrounded to it. Of course opposite charges attract each other. So surrounding this dispersed phase, which ions will be there? Okay, I minus ions will be there. Opposite charges will form a layer surrounding to this. So student, here you understood that two layers are formed. First layer, okay, here I will write, two layers are formed. First is fixed layer, in short I am writing fixed layer, and it is tightly attached or strongly adhering, attaching to the colloidal particle. interactions are stronger type of interaction between first layer. So first layer is called as fixed layer because interactions are strong. It is made up of dispersed phase. Okay. Now second layer is formed surrounding this. Second layer is little moving type of layer because this layer is formed due to dispersion medium. These ions are present in the dispersion medium. So this is moving type of layer present. This second layer is called as diffused layer. Okay. So here I am writing first layer is fixed layer. Second layer is diffused layer. Diffused layer is moving type of layer. Okay, moving layer, and it is made up of dispersion medium. It is made up of dispersion medium. Okay, like this two layers will be there. This is called electrical double layer, or these are called as Helmholtz electrical double layer. It is called as Helmholtz electrical double layer. Now students, first layer has some charge, second layer has some charge. These charges are opposite to each other and there happens potential difference between these two layers. The potential difference between fixed layer and diffuse layer is called as zeta potential. On this topic of charge on colloidal particles, generally question if they have to ask, they will ask define zeta potential. Define, here I am writing define zeta potential. Zeta potential is also called as electrokinetic potential. So the question, if you have to ask, only one question will be asked, what is zeta potential or electrokinetic potential? How will you define that? There will be two layers. Two layers are formed surrounding the colloidal particle. Fixed layer, diffuse layer, both are having opposite charges and the potential difference between these two layers is called as zeta potential or electrokinetic potential. This is what I have shown for positive soul. How it will form for negative soul, student? Let us see. Of course, AgI in the middle. Here Ag plus is adsorbed positive soul. Here I minus is adsorbed. See here, I minus got adsorbed on the surface of AgI. This is negative colloidal particles, dispersed phase, and surrounding I minus, now who will come from the solution? Ag plus will come from the solution from the dispersion medium. Ag plus ions are positively charged, so get attracted towards negatively charged I minus. These will from the solution dispersion medium, and this forms like this second diffused layer. I hope student you understood charge on the colloidal particles very well. This was fifth property. In next lecture we will see the next colloidal properties still are there. Okay, see you.